Hello there, everyone. Welcome to day one of our School Librarian Appreciation Group here in our Facebook group. Today, our special guest is joining us from Beanstack, a company I wasn't very familiar with until recently. And he is sharing some great information about how Beanstack can help you motivate your students to read more, which, of course, all of us wants to do. Couple quick housekeeping things is if you have a comment or a question, we can see those live. And so be sure to drop those in the comments there and we'll get to them. And also at the very end, be sure to listen for our secret code word. And that earns you an extra entry in the prize giveaway.
Wonderful. Welcome, library friends, and welcome to our special guest, Dave Hopp, Director of School Accounts with Beanstack. Let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. Dave and his team work to develop new partnerships with school districts that are interested in growing their reading culture and motivating students to read. Leveraging his experience as an ESOL teacher and new teacher mentor, Dave's favorite part of his workday is brainstorming new ways to engage and motivate reluctant readers. When not discussing reading challenges, Dave is most likely outside playing with his two sons, hiking with his dog, Admiral, or relaxing with his wife, Rachel, because a baby and a toddler can be exhausting.
So Dave, part of what we're going to be doing today is just asking some questions for folks that maybe aren't familiar with Beanstack or maybe haven't been to a library conference to find out more. So can you tell us a little bit about how Beanstack can help school librarians like us to motivate our students to be readers?
Yeah, and thanks for having me, everybody, and to all those watching. Nice to meet everybody. Really appreciate everybody's time. So, when you think of Beanstack, definitely think of two things: students reading more, and then reading culture. Because at the end of the day, we really want to be and strive to be your reading culture partner. So, instead of taking a quiz-based approach, we use community-wide reading challenges and some gamification principles to get those students to read more and build that reading culture. So I said two main things, right? Reading challenges being the first one, and let me share my screen because we typically share this when getting asked that question. Can you see this right now?
Yep,
Collette,
we're
the
all good.
Academy of Reading Challenge. Awesome. So reading challenge can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but the way we see it and the way we see it run well, one, it always starts with a central theme. And it's not just a theme for theme's sake. It's a theme that students can really identify with and the whole school community can be bought into. So we have this National Pizza Month Challenge coming up. In September, we have our Hispanic Heritage Month Challenge and On This Day Reading Challenge. So you got to start there, something really strong and something fun. Then, of course, you got to get students and the community to participate. So you track your minutes, you track your books, complete some
Just 1 second,
activities.
Dave. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you try muting your microphone on your tab that you're sharing? I think we're getting like an echo.
Oh, sure.
Here, I can
Let's
try. I'll
see.
try doing it on my end too.
Okay, yeah, I'm not necessarily sure, but I can stop sharing my screen right there. And let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I could hear it here, and I just thought we didn't want our audience to be hearing like multiple
Oh yeah.
voices. It sounds a
Not
little wild.
you don't want to hear two means. So we have you participating in the web and the mobile app. And then at different participation milestones, you are earning badges. So badges for minutes, badges for activities. We find that those are really motivating for kids in an intrinsic yet extrinsic way. And then the schools that do the best always have some sort of community goal that they reach, and there's a celebration involved. So maybe it's a principal duct taping himself to a wall, librarian getting decorated like an ice cream sundae at the end of the year. schools that read together read more, and that's what we're really trying to hone in on.
Sounds delightfully messy.
Uh, whenever there's food and messiness involved, it's more fun.
So true. And what kind of feedback have you heard from librarians about how Beanstack has helped their campus?
Number one, reading for free choice, reading for the sake of reading works, which is really exciting. And I, as Cari mentioned, I'm a former ESOL lead at the high school that I taught, and getting students that are illiterate or don't know any English at all excited about reading is really challenging. But if you can find something that's high interest for them, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take them, they're going to read it and they're going to try to read it. So we've heard from several schools that they're reading more because they're promoting free choice and they're doing it all within Beanstack. And the whole adage of the more you read, the better you do is true. They've increased. There's this one Texas school, they have STARS testing there. Cari, you might be familiar with that. They've increased their levels tremendously. And then during Lexile check-ins throughout the year, they've had improvements. It's great to see because kids having the opportunity to choose what they're reading and to have agency in the genres that they select really does help. And we've seen that we're not reinventing the wheel. We don't want to recreate the wheel. We want to capitalize on what schools already have happening. We're not coming to create your reading culture from scratch. You have a lot of awesome elements at your schools already. So we want to take whatever you have, enhance it, capitalize on it, and make it just way easier for our librarians, because we know you're stretching a lot of different ways. And the biggest feedback we've heard is that our school success team, the ones creating the reading challenges and creating and helping you brainstorm these ideas, are the number one feature. They are the ones really helping drive things forward throughout the year, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I love what you said about how we know that free choice reading and student choice in what they read works. But it's so great that you have the data to back it up too. You can show that yes, students are still increasing their reading levels based on whatever data-based thing your district has decided to use. It's not one or the other. If you're pitching this to your principal, it's not like you have to choose between we're going to do a free choice reading program and increasing our reading scores. Like they go hand in hand. You just have to trust it a little bit, I guess. The leadership has to trust it a little. But I love that you have that data to back it up, and you can say this is what we're seeing. We know that this works, and librarians, I think we know that on a gut level. We know that free choice reading works, and it's just promoting that and increasing that.
And that's why you became librarians in the first place, right? Because you know the power of reading.
Yes. So, pretending we're at like a mini conference here and asking, if I wanted to get this for my school or my district, what's the pricing model for Beanstack? Is it per student? Is there a site-wide license, or is it across a district or multiple districts? How does that work?
Yeah, awesome question. So we have Beanstack for individual schools as well as districts. And each school is going to get their own Beanstack site. So if you sign up as a 10-school district, every single school gets their own Beanstack site so they can promote their own culture while still being connected as a district. And if you're just one school and you want to be the leader and do your own thing, you can certainly do that on your own as well. So at the school level, pricing will range based off of enrollment, anywhere from around $1,000 to $1,500 or so. It really just depends on enrollment. And that's for the entire year, 12 months. You get the school success manager support, like I had mentioned, and a lot of other things I don't have time to share. And then at the district level, pricing can range anywhere from $300 to $700, but it's based off of number of schools. So when we create custom reading challenges, it takes, our design team, our success team, it takes them a lot of work. And if we can do that for one school, and then if we do that for 20 schools, it's an element of scale, right? So we want to pass off the benefit to a district and bring the cost down, because we essentially do the same amount of work for a district that we would just for one school.
So is that something that, like, do you partner with any grants? I know, yeah, librarians are always looking for funding
Yeah.
sources. So maybe that's something to talk with your leadership at your school or principal about, is there an education foundation or a grant we can apply for, if cost is that much of an issue? But to me, that sounds like a really good investment.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's been some schools that have taken advantage of Title I funds, because we have a mobile app where you can extend that learning and that access to home with parents, because that's a huge part of Title I, getting parental and familial involvement in. And extending, we were talking before the call even started, extending this to the public library and doing work over school vacation time and breaks. And having that mobile app is huge for that. There have been schools that used their PBIS, so their positive behavior incentive system budget, if they do have a budget for that. And because reading is a behavior, right? And it's certainly a positive behavior that we want to incentivize. And then, of course, there's some schools and districts that have ESSER funds left over, and they're finding ways to build that just into their overall budget. And if you're trying to apply for a grant, let me know. We have plenty of supply of resources and proposals and one pagers that you can copy and paste from, because we again, you have everything going on. We know that you're pulled in a million directions, and if this is something you're bought into and you really want to see happen, we'll certainly help you with that. And then the last thing, something I haven't mentioned, you can run your own reading fundraiser all within Beanstack, and you keep 90% of all the donations.
Whoa.
So yeah, so we have seen schools have a tremendous impact of not just running reading challenges throughout the year, but picking a time when they run that reading fundraiser, and maybe they're running a fundraiser for a book vending machine, or maybe they need a new graphic novel collection because they've all been cycled through too many times. Yeah, pairing those two together really help the investment of Beanstack come to reality.
Awesome.
Wow, it sounds like you don't need to let money be an object for this. It sounds like there are a lot of ways that you can find the funds to make this happen. So that's great. The other question I have is about like the login process. Does the librarian have to create logins? Can you use their existing Google logins? How does that work?
And this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because it's so easy for everybody at the school end. So we integrate with ClassLink and Clever, two of the bigger single sign-on rostering programs. So we just need shared access, and we roster and create all of the sites for you. So if you're a school librarian, you don't have to go in and create individual accounts. You don't have to roster them to classes. We do all of that for you. And then if you're a school that has Google single sign-on, we can use that already created account and create that Google single sign-on button for you as well. So regardless of your single sign-on option, we can help you out. And the best part is you don't have to do it.
That is like the best news I think about this, and everything we've talked about is that there's less for the librarian to do. We don't hear that very often. Hey, there's less. Here's a new program, and there's less for you to do.
And we have probably, half of our company is either a former teacher, former librarian, whether it's school or public librarian. So it's designed with and for librarians in mind. So it's really reassuring to hear that that's of value to you all.
So I think we touched on this earlier, but when you talked about reading challenges, this isn't something that the librarian has to create, or that the committee at the school has to create to run the challenge. This is something Beanstack either can create for you custom, or that you have templates, or you have something to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a spectrum of, I want to create everything from scratch on my own, I am a super librarian, to Beanstack. I'm doing surgery on Chromebooks, just do it for me. And any, anywhere in between, we can
I'm the
support.
second one.
Yeah, so I didn't know everybody had their MD in Chromebook surgery. That was impressive. But yeah, so we have a reading challenge calendar where we are creating at least 2 to 3 reading challenges every single month for anybody to use. So if you're on that one side or you just need support, we got you. Don't worry, you pick and choose what you think is going to make the most sense. Then we also will help your district or school create a custom reading challenge. So you all know your school and students best. So if you already do a roar into reading or pause for reading initiative, great. We want to make it even more fun, and we'll do the design for you. And we'll give you some other insights on what other schools are doing. And then there are certainly those that are on this end that want to just do their own thing. So we've had students create artwork for the badges in Beanstack, and the
Ooh,
students earn each other's
Oh,
artwork. So it's a great way for the
that's really
librarian
cool.
art program to collaborate. Yeah,
I
it's one of
love
my favorite things.
that.
Yeah, aside
What a
from the
great way
single
to get
sign-on.
students engaged and like buy in for that is like, I created this thing that all my student friends will be seeing. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that I think you mentioned Cari in the little bio. That's my favorite thing to do. Just brainstorm ideas
Mhm.
with folks, and then in the middle are our templates. So any challenge that we create is a template that you can customize and tweak for your school. So one really fun way that schools are launching the school year is with a principal's picks reading challenge.
Hmm.
Essentially, it allows the principal to be involved with the school's reading culture, saying, hey, these are my 10 favorite books for 4th and 5th grade. And it just so happens that they're in the library. So it's getting students to hyper circulate those books, get the principal involved, and make it a little easy for the librarian to kick things off. But that's a perfect idea of a challenge where, yeah, of course, you got to say what your 10 favorite books are. But other than that, we got you covered. So anywhere on the spectrum, we can help you out.
Awesome.
That sounds great. One of the other things I think about is like the reporting data side. Can the librarian see all the student accounts? Can she share with classroom teachers so they can both kind of keep an eye on, hey, so and so hasn't logged anything on the challenge? Can we have a little chat with him or her? How does that work?
Yeah, so because of Clever, ClassLink, the single sign-on, and the rostering that we do, you can pull data district-wide all the way down just to the student, and you can set automatic reports to come to your email, whatever time of day, whatever day of the week that you want. So if you know that there's this one report that's going to give you your top readers for your morning announcements, but you don't want to
Mhm.
think about it, it can come to your inbox 7 a.m. every Monday so that
Wow.
you or your principal can just shout out those top readers. You can form groups. So if you know that there's this segment of students, the most reluctant of reluctant readers, and you want to focus in on those kids, you can pull a report for that specific group, which is a lot of fun because then you can really, like you were saying, Cari, have those unique one-on-one conversations. And then a really common use case right now with back to school nights, parent teacher conferences getting kicked in, you can go to whatever student's profile, you can go into their reading log, see all the books that they've read, and use that really as a launching point for conversation, whether they've read those books or the absence of books. And that can really be the great insight for those conversations. And that's what we're all about. We're not just about students reading, it's that community reading together, because if a librarian or a teacher's bought into what that student's reading, it's going to mean the world to them and mean the world to their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So I think that's all the questions we have. I'm gonna checking the comments here, and I don't see anything live that was sent in. But we do want to invite folks that if they have questions in the replay or you're watching it later, we'll certainly reach out to Dave if we can, or do our best to answer them. So thank you so much, Dave, for talking with us today and for joining us as our guest speaker. And we
Yeah.
also want to thank Beanstack for donating our prize giveaway, which is a $100 gift card to the local bookstore. You choose the bookstore because it's in your town, for our prize drawing. And Cari, are you going to explain how that's going to work to enter the giveaway?
Yes, we will post a Rafflecopter link after we finish this broadcast, and you will enter your email for one entry to win the gift card. And for a second entry to win the gift card, you will need to know the secret word. And the secret code word is the name of Dave's dog, Admiral. So if you've watched the video and you know the code word, you get 2 entries in our random drawing. And we know librarians always love books, so we appreciate that donation. And thanks so much for being here, Dave. I've loved learning about Beanstack. It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, everybody. And I love the name of your organization, Librarians Teach, because you all do. We're really appreciative of you. And however we can support you all in the future, please let us know. But thank you and have a great school year, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you all a little bit later.